Hello, Mr. Red. And today is March 26th. And Jake, it always takes Mr. Ed a few minutes to keep us waiting. Well, it's not that I want to keep you waiting. It's like I'm not really good at this tech stuff. And like I'm really like impressed that I even got this thing to pull up this morning. So it's like a miracle that this works this way. But here I am. Today, like I said, is March 26th, 2022. And uh, while we wait for other people to come on, if you have any questions, I know Bowleg Hunter, I know you're always watching my videos. So yeah, I'm sure you got Jake, are you in Australia? Bowleg Hunter. Love of Christ. Hello, hello, Susan. Laurel, Mississippi. That's the Dirt Roosters stomping grounds. Dr. Bruce, good morning. Fran, you made it. I thought you wasn't going to be able to make it. Good morning, Gordon. Oak Harbor. Sharky user. You watch a lot of my videos, don't you? Hey, Jason, good morning. Lakeside, California. Robert Hunt. Hey, Mr. Ed, Missouri. All right. What part of Missouri? Oh, thank you for your blessing. Is it Janie? Yeah, that's one of my best things about doing the channel is that, man, I get so many people say, God bless me. I said, well, I'll take all those I can get. Good morning, Jimmy. Oh, man. So, Jimmy, yeah, good, good. She got the honey. Great. Ernie, good morning. Canton, Texas. Hey, I'll be there, Ernie. You know, I'm coming to Canton in September. So, check that out. But Dr. Bruce impressed with that tanging. It works. I got a great story about. Hey, Annette. Hey, can you see on the wall up there, Annette? Woo-hoo-hoo. That's right. Matt, good morning. Cincinnati, Pennsylvania. Chaotic twig. Hey, Sherry. I know, Sherry, you watch a lot of the videos. Astronaut Jeff, I love that name. Andrea, hello. How's the homecoming? Oh, man, I'm going to talk about the house later on today. Good morning, Kim from Dallas, Texas. Love of Christ. Mustafa, I know in Atlanta. I know you're from Atlanta. Steve, good morning. Jeffrey, Tampa. Roy from Toledo, Ohio. Oof, bet it's cold there. Echo 3347. My mom told me they used to tang with pots and pans when they were little. And well, it really does work. It really does work. In fact, let me keep telling people hello while we're waiting a few more minutes. Rambling with the Bruins, Ontario. All right, good. Good morning, Silver Tracks. From Abita today. That's right. Today is a big town sale of Abita. That's right. That's why I'm at the Abbey and not there. I'm in my office. Good morning, Jimmy. Hey, it's Nobody G. Hello. Santa Cruz. Okay, Jake. Good morning, Kim. Sherry. Southeast Ohio. Shake and bake. Timothy, good morning. Diego. In Brazil. Whoa, we. All right. Hey, how are you, Stephanie? Yeah, you made it. I'm glad that you did too. Good morning, Richard. Ed, good morning. From Aurora, Illinois. My brother lives in Aurora. Chris. Sally. Hey, Sally from England. I know you're in England. Uh, Deborah. Hey, out in is it Colorado? Yeah, I remember. I remember your friends came here. Sylvia, good morning. Kelly from northeastern New Jersey. All right, all the way on that East Coast. Bill Gray, good morning. St. Louis, zero. Wow, well, you guys, you too much, too much. All right. I we'll be. I could spend a lot of time just telling everybody hello. But you know what? That's a good thing to say. Talk about. I really appreciate the fact that there's so many of you all that watch my videos. It's like I'm just having a good time doing this, and I'm happy to share, but I'm really like overwhelmed and humbled by the attention that the channel gets. And I really deeply appreciate the time that you spend, because you could spend your time in so many better ways and watching me and my crazy foolishness with Wreck-It Ralph and Good Time Charlie and everybody else. But you don't. You choose to spend it with me. And I really, really do appreciate that. And like I said before, oh, look at that. Hello from Milan, Italy. Hey, Leonardo. Um, uh, that the fact that y'all spend time watching when you could be do something else, it's so humbling. And there's so many other things to do, and yet you choose to watch me. So again, thank you all so very much. And the channel, for whatever reason, it just keeps on growing. And it's like I don't understand why, but it's just a grace of God, and I'm grateful for that, and for all of you that take the time, um, to write comments, to watch the videos, and share in the fun that we all have doing what we do, with the bees. So I still haven't said. Oh, look at that! Brooms are going to be coming to New Orleans, maybe. 15 degrees in southern Minnesota. Yeah, well, that's too cold for me. Maniac, you're here? What? Kathleen, good morning. What part of Jersey? Not me. Uh, Susan, thank you very much. You feel like it's talking. Don't feel like that. It's good. It's all good. Astronaut Jeff, how is JP? Good question. How is JP? I talked to JP last week. In fact, he sent me over a removal referral, and I went up, and I'll be doing that. Charlie and I will be doing that probably next week. It's far away for JP to do, so he asked me if I'd go up there and do it. But he's still working, and JP's got another interest. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but he's taken up welding, and he's just fixating on it. He's a welder man now, and he's got talent doing it, so he's all happy about it. But JP is doing great. He and I are going to be doing a cutout, because that's what he had asked me if we get together and do one. So he will be doing one. So just stay tuned. He'll be there. I'm no international celebrity. I'm just a bee wrangler having fun doing it. Sally, no big deal. Nikki, incredible fun to watch. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you very much. From Fort Wayne, hey, Glenn. South Africa. Ah, thank you very much. Says Private Princess. Tony Lindsay, greeting from England, UK. 17 Celsius. Whew, that's got to be cold. I don't know. 17 period. I don't care what it is, Fahrenheit or Celsius. It's cold. Why so we? Yeah, bees are awesome, aren't they? All right. Let's see, JP. What was the other thing that I wanted y'all was saying about? That's one of my problems. I'm reading this, I'm talking here, and I'm distracted. So I hope you can uh, put up with my foolishness and misconnection in my brain. But today really is what I want to talk about is the yeah, you see, now I show my ignorance. 17 Celsius is in the low 70s. Thank you for that correction. And that 70s is perfect for me. 6 degrees in Nova Scotia. Oh my goodness. That's way too cold. But I wanted. Oh, it's snowing in Detroit. Poor people. So this whole week has been spent on doing our splits, and I never know how many hives we have. I mean, it's somewhere in the 100 or 80 or I don't know because I don't deal directly with my bees. My philosophy on beekeeping is you get bees, you set them up, you leave them alone. And then when it's honey time, go get your honey and go get it. And then until the next year, until you got to do splits, that's what we do. So when we do our splits, it's really the only time of the year that I go into my bees. I go into the bees to get the honey to make splits. And for the next 2 weeks, the next two Fridays, I'll be posting videos on exactly what Charlie and I have been doing this week. Now, it wasn't only Charlie, Good Time Charlie, and I doing this. And I have to send my thanks and appreciation. I had on Thursday, I had a guy from Virginia, Steve Harmon. He and his wife, they sold everything and they became travelers. They got an RV and they travel around the country, and they're just enjoying life. And he followed the YouTube channel and he wanted to come down and meet me and talk with me. And I said, well, you can come down, but if you come down, I'm gonna make you work. And trust me, he worked. So Steve came over on Thursday and helped me. Charlie and I worked bees uh, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Steve came on Thursday. And then yesterday, Friday, I had my buddy Gary Atkins from Oklahoma City. He came and man, I worked the tar out of that boy. We did over 30 splits, 35 maybe. I don't know. We worked from 8:30 in the morning till it was almost 5 o'clock. But Charlie and I have been doing that for 3 days already. And when Steve was here, he and I worked that more. So it's hey Simon, it's a lot of work. And there's when you come across a dead out, there's a lot of gross. And you're dealing with stinking wax moth. But I had a lot of hives that had died over the winter, and the comb was beautiful old brood comb. And so I was reusing all the comb that when I'm making a split, I drop these boxes on. Oh, the system worked really really well. And and when I talk about doing splits, I don't say this is how to do it. This is how Mr. Ed does it. And Mike Barry, he's great on that. He always says on his videos, this is not a how-to video. This is a how I do video. And Mike and I, we are great friends. We've been knowing each other for over 12 years. We met in the same bee club, and we share the same philosophy on bees, and that we allow our bees to do what they do. Mike manipulates his a little bit more than I do because uh, he apparently he must have more time than me to do it. But um, uh, he does a little bit more study. I never really consider myself a beekeeper because a beekeeper they do science on their hives. They work their hives. Me, I set them up, and let God do their thing. He's got a plan for them. So and I just don't stand in the way. But at this time of year, I get to go in and look at my bees. I kind of like get my bee fix by doing removals because that's where I see a lot of bees and bee behavior, and I learn from that because I can't learn from my bees because I don't go in them. And I really don't have the time to go in there. I can do a cutout, and once a week, maybe two a week. I can do, and I'll get my fix that way. But yeah, for the most part, I leave my bees alone. Let me see what some of these people are saying. Good morning, Jeff from Langton, Ontario, Canada. Good morning, David. Just started an online beekeeping beginners training. Oh, great, great. Good luck with that too, David. Hey, Jackie. Jackie, you live in Covington here, Louisiana? What? That's right. That's 3 blocks from the Abbey. Mustafa, Atlanta is cold. It is 11 degrees Celsius or 51 Fahrenheit. Okay, I got it. I got it and stuff. Kevin Miller, my favorite are the ones with your mom and Randy and his dad. Yeah, look on the wall back there. Look at that. Look at that. There she is right there. When she opened up the play button. That video, if you never saw that video of when my mom opened up the play button, you have got to watch it. It's titled something like 95-year-old grandmother opens or unboxes a silver play button. I think that's the name of the title. But if you've never seen it, that's mom in living color. But she was awesome on that one. Juan, good morning. Peter Valentine, hi from Melbourne. Hey, so I know last night somebody said they can't watch in Australia because this is like at 12 o'clock at night over there. Mona and Jeff Landers from Indiana. Great job, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you, Mona. Michael from Vermont. Hello. Stephanie, one of my favorite videos of all. Yeah, that was a great one. It really was. Now, Stephanie here, or she goes by Chocolate RX, she wrote my mom a letter. Not only did she write a letter, it was a note, but she made these envelopes, these notes, and she sent my mom a letter every week, every week. My mom had a stack of them like this. And I mean, I'm grateful that she did that, but mom loved getting letters from Stephanie. Alonzo from Salinas, California. From Westford, Hedfordshire. I guess that must be England to Subo. Herman, good morning from California. What part, Herman? What part of California? Mark Fisher, hello from River Ridge. That's where my brother lives. And I've taken lots of bees out of River Ridge. That's a great area right there on the river, Mississippi River by the levee. And it's got loaded with bees down there. Mark Fisher, hello. Oh, I just did that one. How do you feel about clipping wings on the queen? I wouldn't do that. Um, the reason I wouldn't do it is because I'm not going to go to my hive and look for my queen. And the other reason is because I've known that when people do that, that the bees sense something is wrong with that queen and they'll supersede or kill her. So I wouldn't do that. Jackie, Jeff miss seeing everybody at the club meeting. Yeah, well, I got some good news about a club meeting, but I can't talk about it yet because it's still too early. But I got good news. Right now, on this Saturday, next Saturday, the 2nd, for those who are able to, I'll be doing what we call field day here at the Abbey. And I've set aside about 12 hives that I've invited our club members to come to the Abbey, and we'll do splits. We'll demonstrate how to do splits, or how I do splits. And our club, the guy who started our club, Julian Lang, he's deceased, but his method was using double screen dividing boards, which is what I'm going to talk about. These things right here, a double screen dividing board. He taught us, and this is really where I learned. He taught us about using the double screen boards, and when Julian taught us this is the method he taught us. But since that, those days, I've kind of like done other things, and that's what I want to talk about this morning. Is some of those other things. Ban everything. Hey Jeff, good morning. Texas Beekeeper, good morning. Good morning, TNC, Railroad Honey. In Pollock, Texas, Kenny. Yeah, we found a few of our queens in the bottom box too. On the interior of the house, we'll talk about the house real quick. So it's very, very soon that the house will be complete. I'm still waiting on my countertops and the plumber to finish, but we're really, really close. I was going to do the live broadcast this morning from the house, but being that today was the Abita Town garage sale, there's like 5 million people in a little quarter-mile area, and there's just no way I could get in or get out. So I'm up here at the Abbey this morning. Weave Weaver, hello. 178, Josh. What are you doing this morning, dude? I told you 2 days ago I was going to be here, and you're 178. Love you too, Willie. Thank you. Hey, Rusty. Nice to see you too. And good morning, Kelly. Oh yeah, Craig. Thank you for reminding me that. For those that don't know, Frederick Dunn, he's got a YouTube channel. You got to go see Frederick Dunn. He's like the scientist and of beekeepers. This guy is like, he is so like into keeping records and just making everything straight in line. Uh, Very much opposite of what I do, because I don't do anything. And Fred did an interview with me. It's probably about 3 weeks ago, and man, it was awesome. So if you really want to know some of my personal life, go watch that interview with Fred, because I don't know how he did it, but he got it out of me, and I talked about my own stuff. So go check out Frederick's channel and see that interview and all this stuff. Fred's got some great information, and it's spot on. Oh, and another thing about channels. I told you that on yesterday, Friday, I had my buddy Gary Atkinson um, come and help me do bees, and he just started a YouTube channel. So I'm going to plug that one. It's called G's Bees, GEEZ BEEZ, and so he's just starting out, and he's in Oklahoma City, and he's building his apiary. He actually, Gary contacted me almost a year or two ago, maybe, and was asking about the honey house because he wants to build a honey house, and he wants to get into sidelining basically. And so now he started his own channel. So check him out if you got some time. He doesn't have, I think he's got about 12 or 15 videos, something like that. But he came and helped me, and so I'm plugging his channel. Let's see. Good morning, Donald. What's the best bee repellent for forced abscond from a tree? Use the honey bandit. I have done that. But the problem is if they're in the tree as a hive, it ain't going to work because they've got comb in it. The only time that really works is when it's a swarm that just moved in. They'll happily leave out of there if you put honey robber in there, honey bandit in there. And if not, you're not going to get bees to get off their comb. And if you put that stuff in there, it's just going to run down on the comb. It's going to kill everything. So don't do that either. So if they're in the tree, I don't know the method other than cutting down the tree. And that's what I tell people. And they say, "Oh, we got bees in the tree. Can you come get them?" I said, "Are you going to cut it down?" And they said, "No." I said, "Well, I can't get your bees because they're not going to make it. You're not going to make it." Good morning, Jay from Jacksonboro, Texas. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Hey, Jason, look at that. JCBs. He's checking in with me. That's another great guy. You need to go to JCBs and check out his YouTube channel. The man is a cold weather beekeeper, and I have all the respect for those guys. He's up in Ohio, and I don't know anything about keeping bees in cold weather. Well, not much about keeping it in warm weather either. But cold weather, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with that because it's totally different beekeeping than it is way down here in the warm south. And like Ian up in Canada uh, with the Canadian bee blog, golly, there's no way I could do that. Morning, Nancy. Mad Morph. JCBs is honestly my favorite YouTuber. Yep. Hey, guys got talent. Erica, to get bees out of a tree is by using a trap. There you go. That's another way. A funnel trap that does work. But again, that requires so much time, and to really make it work, you have to put brood in a box out there in the trap out there, and it's just you have to go back and rebait it, and I don't have the time to do all that, but that does work. You're welcome, Jason. God bless you, buddy. Come on, Uno. Time is honey. You can also do a sock in a tree. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about all that. That's too much work for me. So, uh, Dr. Bruce says, tell the story on tanging. Um, that video I posted, I think it's 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, where you see me hitting that crowbar with my hive tool. And there was, it works. Tagging works for that particular one. And I wrote this in the description. I'm not hiding anything, but in the description, I wrote what happened on that episode was we had a swarm like 40 feet up in the air, and Troy was back there with the tracker, and he told me about it. So I came back there, and my extension bucket wasn't long enough to get it. So I got in the bucket of the tractor. He lifted me up there, and by that I could reach the bees at that point. And and by the time I got down, when I hit, I didn't get a good hit on the bees. And by the time I got down, almost all the bees were already out of that bucket, but I had a few in there. And and if the queen would have been in that bucket, those bees would have stayed in that bucket. But she wasn't in there because there's only maybe 100 bees, and I dumped those into that box. And that's why the bucket is standing right there by that box, laying right there by the box. And as soon as I got to the ground, the bees that were in the tree started taking off. They were headed away from us. And that's where the video starts up when I grab, you see me running with that crowbar tanging on it. And it's amazing. Tanging really only works when the bees are in the air. And I don't know what it does, but in that case, and it doesn't work all the time, but it works a lot of times, that the bees just turn around and whoop, they went to that box. And I've done it. That was the only time I had it on video, but I've done it several times. Great story. The day after I posted that video, Charlie, good time Charlie. I wonder if I could find that on my phone. Good time Charlie um, calls me up and says, Jeff, you ain't gonna believe this, but the bees in the long hive, they swarmed. And they were up in the air. Look at that, I got it right here. They were up in the air, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anything to make noise. And so I went and I got a 3-inch hole saw and a screwdriver or a little hammer, and I started beating it. And look, this is the picture. I don't know if that's gonna work. That's the picture of Charlie tanging bees with a hole saw. And he said they're landing on the hole saw and on his hand, and they're going in the box. And he called that swarm down, and they went in that box. Tanging works. It really does work. Why? I don't know, but it's a when you do it and it works, you can say, "I don't believe it." And then a lot of people they still don't believe it, but tanging does work, and that's a great story. Charlie, if he had his video, if he had recorded that, I would have posted that because it was right after it happened. Thank you, Kenny, and have a blessed day yourself. As I love getting those blessings from it, from all of you all that watch the videos. When you do a split, do you get another queen or do you let one develop? I let them develop. That's what. Or if they have swarm cells in the box, I'll transfer swarm cells. In the videos that I'll post next week, I actually use a swarm cell. I'll show you how to get it off the frames to make it still viable, and then put it on the frame itself. So make sure you watch that. It will help. Um, I've never seen it done before. Nobody showed me. I just figured it out, and this is just the grace of God that does that. Hey, good morning, Sally. Great to hear from you again. I know you've been following me for years and years, Sally. Have you heard making hives out of large plastic? I saw that video. I saw it. Unbelievable. Uh, Bees will take up home wherever, and I guess plastic bottles. That wouldn't be my you know, first choice to house them, but whatever. I guess it works. Good morning, John Hatch. Will you show walk away splits as well? Yep, yep. We because I did so many. Um, I did 4 different ways of splitting bees over the last week, and the first video that I'll post will be the one where I'm using the swarm cells. The second week will be on the other types, and one of them is a walk away. So yeah, I but it's a modified walk away because I make sure I got brood in the box. Laws about honeybees here in Louisiana. I don't know any. I don't know. There's I don't know. I don't know about laws. Grow your love like a garden. Love. Please show love to others. Ask the Creator to teach you how. Very good, Dan, and everything. That's true, Thomas. Honey. Bees will love wherever there is real estate farm. If they can build a hive in it, they will. They'll take it. Uh, let me show you too. I know everybody knows that the Dirt Rooster and I we do our swarm challenge every year. So um, the other day, for some reason, the bees aren't swarming a lot right now. And when I probably done a good 80 plus splits already, and in 80 of those hives, I probably only come across 10 of them that had swarm cells in them. None of them had swarm cells. It just, I don't know. I don't know the reason why. And we are so late in the year right now. So I'm trying to find this picture that the rooster had sent me. There you go. And let's see if I can get that thing. There you go. Look at this. Yeah. So for our little challenge, uh, we have to have confirmation from a picture. So this is the picture that he sent me. Now, just like me, he is super busy. And the day before he sent me that picture, I told him, I said, "Man, I've been so busy here at the casket shop and with working splitting bees and working at the house. I don't have any time to go get swarms, and I missed two really easy swarms. I mean, walk up swarms and just drop them in the box. But so I miss those. But then, yeah, I think it was, I, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, I got a call, and it wasn't an easy one like Randy's. Mine, this was mine right there. Uh, and that picture is very, very deceptive because that's just the face of them. They were in this big old wooden pile of debris. And if I would have taken my camera and gone the other side, that swarm weighed easily 5 or 6 pounds. It was huge. I had to vacuum them up because I couldn't shake them into it would have just been a mess. And yeah, I did get the queen. I don't think I took a picture of me holding the queen, but yeah, I got the queen on that one too. There's a huge swarm. So right now, to my knowledge, the rooster and I each have one. So that's two, one for each of us. At least that's we each have our pictures. Ed, good morning. Never seen anybody take more stings than Randy. That's because he don't wear a suit. Me, I'm gonna wear my suit. I don't like taking those stings. Well, Randy and I have been trying to do a removal together. It's just our schedules are really busy, and for us to be able to get that time together, it's tough. But it's coming up, just like with JP, and you'll see Shawway in there with us too. I mean, we all talk and yappy, and we all want to do it. It's just a matter of getting to it. And that's another one. You got Yappy, that crazy man. You got to go look at Yappy's channel if you wanna laugh watching somebody wrangle bees. Check out Yappy. Well, I'm sure you all know Yappy already. Kodiak Farm Bees. Are you in Alaska? All right. Let's see. Uh, I guess we got enough people on there can start actually talking about what we did, and so I'm going to talk a little bit. I know y'all are leaving your comments and stuff, and I'll try to if I don't if you don't if I don't address your question because I don't see it, retype it and let me give me another chance to look at it because this thing is going and I can't do everything at once. So I want to start talking about what we did on our splits. And on the first day, Charlie and I went out to our St. John yard, which is in Folsom, and we went through it's probably about 13 or 14 hives, and not one of them had a swarm cell. And at that point, I was just mindset on I'm going to make my splits using my swarms. And by the end of the day, when I realized and saw how few swarm cells I had, I said, I got to do something different. And so then I started making the modified walkaway splits not using swarm cells. But the first day we used swarm cells, and that's what the video will be about next week. And the what I do is I'll take the box and boom, and I'll open it up. I just flip it up on its backside, and I look in the bottom of the box for the swarm cells. And it's really, really, really difficult to detach a swarm cell from a frame without opening it up, making it not usable. But I use my fillet knife, and the method I use is I go either up or down, and just take a little sliver of the wood. And because the grain of wood, the way it runs, you can just peel off a real small amount of wood off that wooden frame. It's got to be wood, not plastic. And and by doing that, you don't rupture the cell. And then what I do is I take that little sliver of wood and I use my hob tool. I clear away a space the same width, about an inch and a half wide, on one of the frames of what I clear away the wax with that, and then I insert that cell right above that wax, so the cell hangs down inside of that part that I plowed away. It looks like a superseding cell. By the time you finish doing it, it looks like the bees did it. And in the video, I show exactly how I do that. So it's a great way of making a split. In my opinion, using a swarm cell instead of allowing the bees to make emergency cell, um, it's a better way. I think the queen is a little bit better because with a swarm cell, that cell, the bees drew out that cell purposefully for a swarm cell and got the queen to lay in it. The queen laid an egg in that, and so that cell had the right egg in it. It had the egg in it at the right age, and it knew, and the egg emerged and developed in that proper cell. Now the emergency cells, um, what and they work. I use them, but a lot of times because an emergency cell is made from an egg, a larva that's already been laid, and it has to be, I think, 3 days minimally. It can't be anything over 3 days old, otherwise it's too old. The egg can't develop into a queen, and so it's got to be a certain age. And oh, thank you, Lauren. Oh, golly, thank you very much. Uh, I those see now those comments I see because for some reason when they do a super chat it gets big on it. So thank you very much, Orn Crazy, for your love. Thank you very much. So the emergency cell, the queen just lays a regular worker egg in a worker cell. And what the bees do is they have to draw the comb around it, and it's not designed to be a queen cell, but the bees make it work, and that's why they call it emergency. The queen, something happens to the queen, and they have no choice; they've got to do this. So the queen doesn't lay in there. It's an egg that's already, or larva that's already been there, and so in some sense they people consider it inferior. But I've seen an inferior queen, but I've seen some beautiful queens come out of my emergency cells. So I don't know, but I still would rather put that swarm cell in there and let them use that. And when I do put a swarm cell, I'll put minimally, I put 2 or 3 in there, because just like a an emergency cell, whichever queen comes out first, she's going to kill those other 2. So you're only going to wind up with 1. But I always put more than 1, because you don't know whether that cell has got a good queen in it, a live queen in it, or not. But um, uh, it it's it works. Oh, Cajun Homestead, thank you. Golly. Man, thank y'all very much. Cajun, where are you? I figure you're in Louisiana with that name. Where are you located? Man, thank you very much. So swarm cells as opposed to emergency cells, I prefer the swarm, but I'll take an emergency cell any day. And when you use a screen dividing board, double screen dividing board, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get emergency cells. So since I'm talking about that, let's talk about this thing right here. And look, I got 2 of them. This is the one that I actually used on a hive, and this is what they look like before I put the mosquito screen on it. And anybody can make these things. This is not rocket science right here. Look, you got straight wood, straight wood, straight wood, straight wood. The only thing that's really complicated is to make an entrance to it. That's the only thing that you got to really worry about is this entrance. Kodiak, golly, thank y'all. Man, what part of Louisiana are you from, Kodiak? I thought you were up in Alaska. I use a 3-inch hole saw right here to make this. And you see where the center is right there. And this becomes the entrance to the hive right there. And what you do is once you get your box made up, I use Craig screws, these type of screws. This is how I screw them together, because this is a great tool. These are not expensive. You could probably get one of these tools, for your hand drill, probably about 25, $30. You can get one, and you can make these things so simple. So the dimensions on it, look on your box, and sure enough, as long as this fits over your box, then it's correct. And I put this bar right in here because the screen wiggles a little bit, so you want to have a little tension in there. So you put that one in there. And when you put your screen on it, it's got to be on both sides. Now, one thing I'd recommend you do, see how I've only got the screen down about halfway? Make sure you pull the screen all the way to your edges, except where your entrance is. You can't be here, but I would recommend that you go around your entrance and staple it there, because what happens is when you put this between your 2 boxes, bees will get underneath this screen and you'll get bees all stuck in here. And I've had lots of them stuck in here. So you want to make sure this screen is pulled all the way to the edge and your box is sitting on it. And what this does, when you have your doubles, your 2 hives, your 2 boxes stacked up to each other, all you're doing, separating your 2, you clean out the bridge comb, the burr comb between it, and you stick this frame in between them. Now, you want to make your opening right here to the opposite side. I guess you could put it to the same side, but for me, I was taught that this goes to the rear of the hive, and the entrance to the hive, which is in the front, that remains the entrance for the hive. And what happens when you put this board in there, any of the field bees that were in this top box, when they come out, they're not going to return here. They're going to go down to the box that's below them. And so what happens is the field bees that are in that top box, the number of bees in that box starts to drop, because any of the field bees. Hive bees, they're going to stay in there, which you want them to stay in there because 95% of the time our queen is up there and she's laying up in there. And so you need to have those hive bees on there on that brood. Because right now, this morning, it was 40, 45 degrees here in the morning. So it's still cool in the morning. So you don't want that brood to get chilled. So they're up there. In the bottom box, there's brood in the bottom box too, and but not as much. And what I've found is that we're stealing those hive bees, the field bees, out of that top box going to the bottom. I like to have a lot of stores up in that top because they no longer have field bees in that top. They're all gone. They're all back into the original hive, and so they need stores because there's nobody bringing in anything else. So they need that for the brood that's in there. But by the time the brood starts hatching out, the hive bees that are in there, they'll be old enough to become field bees, and it'll all work out fine. So basically, what happens by putting that dividing board in there, one box has got our queen in it, the other one doesn't. The one that doesn't, they're going to develop the emergency cells. If there are eggs or larvae in the bottom box young enough to make the swarm cells. Then 7 days later, after we put that board in there, you have to go back in there and make sure that you have emergency cells in the bottom. Good thing about a double screen dividing board, if you don't have the cells in the bottom, pull the board out, put the boxes back together, boom, and you can start over again. So I always recommend using a double screen dividing board to new beekeepers because it is almost the most it's the best way of doing it if you don't know anything about doing it. It works. It really does work. Uh, and so I would recommend highly for anyone that doesn't know how to do splits, and you need to do your split, to use a double screen dividing board. There's versions of them that you can buy that have multiple openings on them. Whatever, you can build one of these things way cheaper than you could buy one from Man Lake, wherever you get. All right, let's see some questions. Just getting home from a night of work. Good morning. Let's see. Three boy bees. Glad I caught it. I had a question about the problem of the solid splinter board. I don't I don't know what a splinter board is. One thing about those the screen boards is, in like I said, in that cold, they that heat between the two boxes, they share that warmth. So that's a really great thing. Oh, bow-legged brother. Wow. Thanks so much, man. What's your real name, Boleg? Thank you very much. Uh, Denham Springs, you're right up the road. Man, you got to come down here. I pass through Denham Springs all the time. You got to you make it a point. Look, you can you you can go on my channel, and I've got my information, contact information there. You can get in contact with me. Come down here, and I'll show you our operation. I'll show our operation to everybody. Anybody who's interested, I'll show it to them because it's really cool what we do here at the app. It really is. The monks, they just give me carte blanche. They say, Jeff, you do it, and so I do it. I put a frame feeder and a partial pollen feeder in the top box for resource. So yeah, it's a good idea to make sure that top box has got food in it. Um, I don't do it. I don't feed bees, and I don't nurture bees. Bees got to take care of themselves. So they I really do make an effort to make sure there's stores in there for that box that doesn't have the field bees. But if you guys, well, when you see the video next 2 weeks, you'll see how much honey and pollen goes into these boxes when we do those splits. Melted popsicle. I love watching you guys so much. Thank you for what you do, and thank you very much for watching. Golly, Y'all are really great. Ted Haydell, good. I'll try to remember that, Ted. Thank you so much. From Jennings, you're right there in Rocket Scientist Steve neighborhood. Steve lives in Jennings, and I pass through Jennings when I go to see Mona. I'll stop by and see Steve. Steve lives right off of, what is that, 64? Is that 64? Yeah, 64. That's right where you are. Thank you very much, Ted. Thank you very much. Another question: what is the easiest method you suggest with a high success rate for splitting? Uh, the easiest one is double screen. That's the easiest. Um, but with the double screen, you always remember that when a when you make a split, the queenless hive, um, you're gonna have a 40-day minimal 40-day wait before you get any new hatch brood out of that, and so it's always about time in relation to making the splits. Time as far as how many bees are going to be in that hive when that nectar flow begins. And that's really key for me because my interest is not selling bees or selling nukes or selling queens. Only thing I want to do is provide honey for the Abbey gift shop all year round. So my mindset on keeping bees is honey production. So if honey production is your deal, then you have to make sure that your hives are developed enough in the sense that you have to have enough bees in that hive for them to make a surplus. Remember, none of your honey should be uh, honey that the bees need to survive on. It should always be a surplus. Only way you're going to get a surplus is to have a gang of bees in your hive. In other words, for me, it would be 3 deep supers of bees. If I get at the end of May, if I've got 20 frames of bees in my hive, I'm getting a honey super. In fact, when I go through my beehives in the next 3 weeks to check on their growth, I will be counting my frames. So if I have 8 frames of bees in my top box, I'll probably have 8 or 9 in the bottom, and I'll throw my honey super on. And when I throw a honey super on, I do not put an excluder in there. I don't care if the queen goes up in there and lays up in there. And when I put on my honey supers, it's either, and you've seen the videos, I generally use brand new foundation and frames with wax that I put on from my own bees. And I dip them into the hot wax, and so that the bees will then draw out that wax. And you've seen it. That stuff is just picture perfect. It's gorgeous. And so it's all about timing. I need to have enough bees in that box to make me honey. And if it's 40 days that it's going to be before that new queen is going to start having bees hatching out and hatching out, flying and working, 40 days. So we're at the end of March. So now we're talking about the second week or first week in April. Yes, that our bees are going to come out. Our first nectar flow is May. So that gives me 2 brood cycles of hatch. And if we got a queen that's laying 2,000 eggs a day in that 5 weeks, man, that hive can boom blow up. That's the new queen. But remember, we got that old queen. She's laying from day one. That's where almost all of my honey comes from. Is from that old queen. Because I split her. I've added supers, and when I add supers, I know most of you don't have it, but I use drawn comb already or old brood comb. Uh, comb Drawn comb is like the secret of success when you want to get honey, because if the bees don't have to make the comb, the wax, to store either brood or honey or pollen, you're so far ahead of the curve of that the little window that you have for the bees to make the wax, gather the honey, and store it and cap it. Our window is only about 7 to 8 weeks to get honey. That's it. That's all we got. And in some places, it's even shorter than that. So the challenges of that cold weather beekeeping, ooh, I'm glad I don't have to do it. All right, let me see some questions. Knowledge is king. You're right, Jimmy. You're right. Beeheads hobby farm, love of Christ. You don't need honeycomb to catch a swarm. Nope, you don't need honeycomb, but it helps. Lemon oil and old equipment and a good prayer. It always works for me. Tony Cardoni. Mr. Ed, I believe you use all deeps. Can you explain why you use only deeps? I only use deeps because remember I said I don't use excluders. I don't care if the queen goes up there and lays because if the queen goes up there and lays, she's going to be laying in those center frames. And those, it's generally just 3 frames, the center and the 2 on the outside. Sometimes she'll go up there if the nectar flow isn't really strong and they're not bringing in. She'll go into the 5 frames, but mostly it's going to be either 1 or 3 frames that she's laying in. And if it is, what I do is I go down, and why I like the deeps, I can take that box, move it to the side, pull those frames that have the brood in it, go down into that second box, and on those outside frames in that second box, you better believe if she went laid up there, those outside frames are already full of honey. So I'll pull those frames, drop the brood frames where those, well, I'll spread them out, but I'll drop those frames that had brood in down there, and now I've got all honey up on top. For me, that's how I like doing it. That's just my way of doing it. Doesn't mean that that's what I recommend, but that's for me. That's why I use all deeps. Are you a fan of the horizontal hive? Yes, I like horizontal hives. And good time Charlie made me another one. And I'll be making videos on that when I put the bees in it and all that stuff. Yes, I think horizontal hives are a great way to keep bees, especially if you've got some kind of restrictions on weight and lifting stuff, because that way it's just there's so much easier to work and um, yeah, I love horizontal highs or long highs or modified. I like those things. They're very good. Dollar Store Bones. Hello to you too. Doug Cotton from Nova Scotia. Hello, Doug. Annette. Yeah, yeah. John Gage, ask your question again because I didn't see it. Do you have an issue with Africanized bees? In our area, actually, there's only been a few documented cases of Africanized bees in Louisiana. And in our area here in Southeast Louisiana, none. We don't have Africanized bees, and I'm grateful for that. I really am because, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with all that. But they make a lot of honey. So, beekeepers out west, they deal with it and they get honey off of them. So don't it's not always a bad thing. It's just that they don't mix with people and animals. They're very aggressive. That's all. Queen's Gold Beekeeping in Canada. Great thing about all deeps is all equipment is the same. Brood honey, pollen, frames and notes are interchangeable. That's exactly why I do it. It's interchangeable. Boy, I'm glad that some of y'all are answering the questions that people are asking because I'm not catching on. How many hives do you have? I really don't have the exact number right now. And I told Charlie at the beginning, I said, Charlie, if we have 100 hives, that's enough for us to work. We don't. And Charlie goes, yeah, that's all we want. I got bad news for Charlie. I think we got over 100. I think we're going to be 120, 130. I don't know yet. I'll know at the end of next week when I go and do a final count. I'll know. But look, I've got my chest out. I'm so proud of our bees. When you open up to do these splits and you got 2 boxes full of bees and you pull that top box off and it weighs 45 pounds because it's full of honey, and then you go through the frames and you see all this nectar and pollen, you say, oh man, you're just like, man, I'm so proud of you girls. Keep up the work. But again, our area that we live in, man, we are blessed with an abundance of food source for the bees, as well as we are not a big agriculture area. We don't have a lot of pesticides. Our mites. I'm looking when I'm doing my splits, I'm looking at all these this drone comb that I'm tearing open from the bridge comb. Um, I haven't found one mite on any of that stuff yet. And yeah, it's still early in the year, but even normally, so you're gonna find some mites on it, but not one. Incredible. I'm so happy with what I seen in the last week. And like I said, I don't go in my bees, so I'm just when I see how good they are, I say, well, why go in them? They're doing great. They don't need me, and that's the way. Uh, I look. Where do you recommend someone to start seeing if they enjoy having an apiary? Okay, check out my channel. Yeah, yeah. You go on any bee channel and you'll see somebody in love with their bees. That's all there is to it. Because if you're a beekeeper, you want to show off your bees, and they're just because they're so cool. Bees are so cool, and the first time that you see a swarm, you can say, "Oh, I got to do this." John Nunagrass, you may have answered this. I'm just getting on late, but I'm in Lacombe. That's right down the road. Uh, Wonder how do you know when or if you need to do a split? I judge it by the number of bees in the hive. If I've got you got to have two boxes to do a split, obviously. If you have in both of your boxes minimally six frames of bees in both of them, you can do a split. Then again, there's also considerations if there's enough stores in the split to be able to carry the load in the box with the queen, and if there's depending on which way you do a split, if there's brood young enough for them to make an emergency cell in the bottom. If you have any more questions about that, contact me here at the Abbey, and I'll be happy to talk to you about that. Jimmy Brooks, greetings from San Antonio, Texas. God bless you all. Thank you for the blessing, Jimmy. Thank you. God bless you too. Don't know there were honeybees in the desert, but wow. Yeah, there's bees everywhere. Let's see. Yes, thanks for the videos, Jeff. Here in West Central Nebraska, ready for spring. I bet you are. Phew, goodness sakes. Thank you, Vish S. Vish S. from the UK. It's great to see that many of you all know each other on just from what I'm reading on these comments. So that's really great. Oh my goodness, it's already been an hour. Man, goodness sakes! I have learned 90% of what I know about keeping from you, BKA, the Bayou Bee Man. I hope one day I come to meet you. Hope to come to meet you too, Keith. That'd be great. Sharon Reinhardt. Hi Jeff. Thanks for taking care of my friend Roxy. Oh, you're welcome, Sharon. She was really a great woman. We had a great time taking those bees. That was a great beehive removal. Me and Mike Barry, we took out some bees from Roxy's house. That hive was 8 feet long. If you didn't see it, that's what it's called. Something like 8 foot beehive removal, something like that. I don't know, but it was a great one. Wonderful. Man, I bet we got 8 gallons of honey out of that one. Do I raise any queens for you from your splits? Now, do I raise them? Now, any all of my cells that I get, I put right back into our hive. So I rehive with our own queens. I don't buy queens. I don't buy anything. I don't buy it. As people that know me, they know that. No, no, don't. He ain't gonna sell nothing. You don't buy nothing. Yeah. John Kinkle. Hello, Mr. Ed. Like the videos, and if you would give a shout out to the Bayou Bee Man. Well, Bayou Bee Man, here's to you. Go check out the Bayou Bee Man's channel. Where are you located, Bayou Bee Man? Melvin Lance. Hello from Northern Michigan. God bless you and your channel. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you very much for that blessing and for taking the time to watch the videos. So I talked about doing splits using a double screen board. Um, the other way that I do splits, and it works. It's basically a modified walkaway. A walkaway split is you just get your beehives, you take the top box, boom, and you move it over someplace else, put the lids on, boom, you're done. And they work. They work. You can do those. There's a chance that the box that doesn't have the queen in it, they're not even going to produce a queen, and they may even die because there wasn't brood in there to make them. And and once you do a walkaway split, once you break them apart like that, you can't rejoin them because now the pheromone is lost. And so the if you try to rejoin them, they'd fight. It just wouldn't work. But walkaways work. They do. Everything works to a degree. Some things just work better. Um, so so my way of doing a walkaway and how I did probably 85% of my splits this year, they were modified walkaways. That when I flip up that box, and like I said, I didn't see hardly any swarm cells in any of my boxes, but there were oodles of bees in those boxes. So, and there was cups and swarm cups, but no swarm cells. So what I did, and this is will be on the second video because I show this. What I do when I come across those hives is I scrape all the bridge comb, the burr comb off of both the top box and the second box. And then on the top box, which 90% of the time that queen's going to be up in there, I take because that's where the swarm cells are going to be located. I'll take that box, and after scraping off all the bridge comb, I'll take my fillet knife and all the wax that's built up between the frames. I'll take my fillet knife and I'll just slice it right off in between the frames, so that by the time I finish, all you see is the comb going up. There's nothing in there. And I'll take that box, boom, and I'll move it over to the side. Now that would be a walk away, but I don't want to leave it like that. I want to make sure that both boxes have an opportunity to make a queen if something would happen to the queen when I'm going through it, or the the queen that's in the box, the other box that doesn't have her, that they're going to have the opportunity to make a queen or draw out emergency cells. So when I split the boxes apart, then I will go through frame by frame, checking for the food and brood. Because you got in the frame that the box that's got the queen in it. Since you're stealing all of her hobbies, they have to have enough food in there for the brood to that's uncapped, that's ready. They need to be fed, and then for when they emerge, they gotta feed. So they need a lot of food in there, honey and pollen. And so you have to make sure those resources are in that box. The other box where the field bees are, it's not so important that they have uh, the stores in there. They need some, yes, but remember they're field bees, and right now they're bringing in the nectar. They're bringing it in. So before they were storing all that stuff in the upper box because that's where predominantly our queen is laying is in that upper box, and now they'll start storing it in that bottom box. And I make sure because I go through frame by frame in that box as well to make sure there's brood in there young enough for them to draw out an emergency cell. And generally, what I do at that point is I'll add another deep super of drawn brood comb on top of that box that's got the field bees in it because the number of bees just grow, and it gives those bees a place to store all that nectar that's coming in, as well as opportunity to clean it up. The hobbies that are in that one, they clean all the cells out, polish them up, get them all ready to be used. And then in the box with the old queen that I've moved off, um, there's buku bees in that, and they'll clean it. I'll put another box on that too. So when I do my split, I drop two new supers. They're not new. They're drawn out comb on each one of them, and that really gives a big boost to um, the development of that hive, and it helps them a lot. So make sure that I have enough stores in there, brood in there, and I can add that other super that's already to be used. Let's see. Uh, Craig, how are you? Another Lacombe guy. Yadong. Greetings from Germany. Oh, Scrody McBoogerballs. I know your name. God bless you too, buddy. Thank you very much. I like your name. I like that. I like that. It's funny. Keith Little, I am the Bayou Bee Man. I hope to meet you too, Keith. We're in Covington, Louisiana. That's where we are. I did 8 splits, double screen boards last week, and we'll do 4 more this week. Double screen boards work. They really do. Southern Wisconsin snow. Woo. Picking up 2 3-pound bee packages today. Good luck with that, Timothy. Wowee. Hey, Brandon. I'm glad you made it. Good, because I know you wanted to. What's all this talk about bees? This is my least favorite camping with Steve episode. Maniac, you crazy. Well, Steve was with me, but just a different Steve. Here in Ohio, we have snow again. We worked my 30 hives last week. It was 70 degrees. Now it's 18. Good luck with that, Randy. Wow, you guys are tough. Mr. Ed, what kind of diploma or certificate is that on the wall with the key? Oh, that's a joke. We have there a judge buddy of mine in Terrebonne Parish in Houma. He he made an honorary day in Terrebonne Parish for me, and I got the key to the Terrebonne Parish. There you go. Got to run. All right, Brand. Thank you very much. South Park. That sounds like something from South Park. I probably saw that show once. Blanchard Bees. Wow, look at that. Where are you located at Blanchard? I forgot. I know you told me, but I forgot. All right, moving on. So we did splits using the double screen and walk away splits. Another type of split that I did was a no split. It was a no split, and these are when I opened up the hive, you might have had 5 frames of bees because my minimal number is 6, and even 6 I don't like doing. I like doing 7. If I got 7 frames of bees in both box, I'm going to make a split. That's I feel most confident when I see that number of bees in there. But when I get down to uh, 5 frames of bees, eh, it's a maybe situation. Remember, my my main focus on doing bees is to get honey. If if I were to do a split, and you could do a split with five frames of bees, but if I did a split with 5 frames of bees, there's a very good likelihood that one of those splits won't make it, and more likely it's the one without the queen. And the one with the queen, she's only got 5 frames. By the time our second flow starts in June and the end of May, she won't have enough time to have the number of bees in the hive to develop to get honey, a surplus of honey. She'll probably get enough honey to make it through the winter, but not enough for a surplus. So because I'm interested in getting honey, I'm not going to do a split. I'm going to leave these bees alone There's 5 frames of bees in the top, 5 frames in the bottom. That gives them 10 frames of open space on either side for that queen, that old queen that's in there to lay in. They're not, got my fingers crossed, they're not going to swarm because there's all this space in there. The box isn't crowded enough to stimulate that swarm instinct. So I say, okay, no split. And then to even reinforce that idea of no split, I add another deep super to it. So now they've got the 10 frames to the 5 on either side on the top and bottom. And then I add another 10 on the top. This will accommodate the growth of the hive and at the same time lessen again more, make greater that less likelihood. That's weird. Anyway, it'll lessen the likelihood of that hive swarming. So by adding another super, I'm just giving them space. I'm giving them space. And and as that hive grows, they can then grow into it because it's going to grow, but it's just not developing as fast as the others. So I'm not going to split it. I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm very confident that that hive will produce me honey instead of swarming. Yeah, they may swarm, but then again, some of my old queens may swarm as well. There's always that chance. As my biggest challenge in May and June is having enough, giving them enough space. When I go in there and look, and I've got 10 frames of drawn out comb in that top in that third super, I better add another super to it because it's only going to encourage them to swarm. And there's no other place for the bees to store the honey that's coming in. And I like giving them drawn comb or uh, foundation that's got wax already on it. So that's another way of that I do my splits is no splits. That instead of doing a split, I add a super. And then the last way I did it, and I had several of these hives that when I took the separated the box, there were no bees in that top box. No, I mean a handful of bees that the hive, for whatever reason, it could have been a late uh, queen from last year. The hive just never developed. And you go in the bottom box, and there's 5 frames of bees in the bottom box, not even in the top box. So with those bees, what I do is, boom, I take off that top super, and I'm just gonna. It's easy for me to monitor those because there's only one box, and I can look at that and say, well, do I need to add that super? Because those hives will grow, um, uh, but they may stumble along, or they may not even make it. But they're easy for me to monitor. The the other ones, I mark all of my hives. When I do something to the hive, I write on the cover what I've done to it, whether it's the old queen or I need to check for emergency cells. So I mark so I know what's going on, so that when I go back to check on the flow from the nectar, how much honey is being brought in, then I can make the assessment as to whether I need to add another super so they won't swarm or whatever. It's all it's not science for me. It's just, well, what does this look like? And I make a choice. I make a decision. And that ability to make a choice, a decision on how to go, you become more confident in what you decide and don't second guess yourself because it's so easy to second guess yourself. And that's and I know because I went through it. Uh, n- um, it's normal, well, is that the right thing? And I used to lay in bed at night thinking, well, man, if I did this, I should have done this. And sometimes I'll go back and fix that or do something different. But for the most part, once I do it, I don't think about it anymore. It's done. The bees will work it out or not, and we'll get through it. And we move on. We move on. So that's basically my presentation on the swarms. Now I do have to do a couple of thanks and apologies. So I want to thank Michael Duncan I'm not going to say this right. Quinlancine. He sent me two of his jars of honey, and it's maple honey. Gosh, this stuff is awesome. Look how pretty that is. That is gorgeous stuff. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Mike. And it's Old Bear Honeybees. That's his farm. And I gotta. I don't know if you're watching but I gotta send an apology to Joseph Atienza in Arlington, Tennessee. I tell people if you want to buy honey from me, send me the the monies and I'll get you honey too. Well, so Joseph, he sent me this letter. It was postmarked January 24th, and I just found this thing. Uh, my filing system is even worse than the way my honey house looks right now. It's just, I'm so bad. And I found this letter under a stack of stuff and said, "Oh no!" So Joseph, I really apologize for not sending you your honey yet, but I will take care of this. And it's sitting on my desk now in plain view, so I will see it. All right, let's. I will take care. I promise you. Do I have anybody else to talk about? No. So Kathleen says you stopped live feed. No, I'm still live. It still says live, so I don't know. Well, Melvin, I don't do very many live feeds because it takes. I do it. I'm already on for almost an hour and 20 minutes already, but I do it periodically every 2 months or so. I do. I like doing them because when I find, hey, Mike, uh, Mike Benjamin, eventually I'm going to have some help. Mona's going to help me do these things because I can't read the comments, and I'd really love to. I'd love to read the comments as well as talk. I just don't have that mental dexterity to do that. So I apologize, but you know, I do enjoy doing these, and I really I can't believe you're still here, Maniac. Um, I really do enjoy doing them, and it's an opportunity for those that don't live close to where I am to, if I'm lucky enough to see your comment to actually respond to it. So I do try to respond um, to the comments on my videos. Now, most of them, as you notice, I just give you a heart. I read it because it takes a lot of time, but I do take the effort to read your comment, and for those that have really questions that I will try to answer them. So I, I do, I show my appreciation for you taking the time to watch the video and even to leave a comment to respond to it, either by a heart or answering it with a real answer instead of just a heart. A second monitor will allow you to have comments on one screen and your videos. See, I don't know about that stuff. I'm lucky I can do this. So eventually, I might get set up like my buddy Fred. That nice, beautiful studio with the perfect lighting and the backdrop. Everything is so nice. Yeah, Fred's got it down. Don't forget to go check out Fred's channel. He's awesome. Janice, I like your lives. I learned so much from about bees. Good, good, Janice. Thank you. Thank Kyle. Thank you. It lets me know what to do a month from now. So, Glenn, I guess you must be in cold country because, man, our splits they're over. Love your videos, Paul Gusman. Love your videos, although am not a beekeeper, but I love watching the bees and the keepers interact. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't keep bees that watch my channel, and I am greatly appreciative of those. So I don't know. I hope to inspire a desire in non-beekeepers to at least develop that appreciation for bees and what bees do for us and why they're so important uh, to our very survival. And if I can get that point across, well, I've done my job as far as I'm concerned. Ray Hill 397. Hey Jeff. Hey Ray. Jimmy, so enjoying my monk soap from the gift shop. Boy, they Brother Austin makes some wonderful soap here at the Abbey, and he's got so many flavors, scents to it. It's really good. Thanks, Lagrange. Bee Paul Beekeeping. Hey, Mr. Ed, just came back from an ear surgery. Well, I'm glad you can at least see the video, Bee Paul, because I know you watched the videos. I know that. How long before you separate the boxes when you use a double screen? You can 7 days. Once you get the emergency cells, you can remove the boxes. Uh, Personally, I leave that top box on for another week or so, and then I'll move it off. I giving them a little bit more time and sharing that heat. That's always a good thing. So, but you can do it as soon as you get cells in the bottom, you can move it off. Deanna Bell, hello. Enjoy your channel and learn so much. Thank you, Deanna. Glad you do that. Thank you for watching. Kitty Chen, hey, Mr. Ed, just want to thank you for all. Oh, you're very welcome, Kitty, and thank you for watching. What kind of frames are best, plastic or wire? Um, because I use that an extractor, I use a plastic foundation. As long as you put wax on there, the bees will draw it out. If you don't put wax on that plastic, they are not going to want to draw it out. So as long as there's wax on the foundation, they'll draw it out. But if there's wire foundation, I can't spin that in my extractor. It'll just blow out. It's just not strong enough. Sydney, hello from Utah. Sealed nectar. Mr. Ed, how many hives do you have in total? And what is the most challenging part of having so many hives? Like I said, I don't know the exact numbers, probably somewhere between 120, 130. The most challenging part is when you have to work them like we're doing right now and bringing in the honey. That's why I leave my bees alone because I don't need to be in the box looking. I don't have the time to do it. For me, the pleasure is walking by my bees and looking at them flying. If I see that, I'm a happy camper. How many deeps do your production hives get? So if we have 120 hives right now, I'll probably put close to 90 for production of honey. It's not all of them are going to do it. And out of those 90, not all of those 90 will give me 10 boxes, 10 frames of honey, but we'll get honey out of almost all those 90 hives. Shevlin, how are you? Who's got the most cutouts? Bruce is he does that for he makes his living off of doing that. So he does way more cutouts than I do. I do it just enough to get my fix on bees and then make videos too. I love making these videos and I like that y'all watch them. Kathleen, I'm not a beekeeper either, but live vicariously through guys like Mr. Ed 628, Yappy, and a few others up north. Thank you, beekeepers, for helping our essential bee friends. You're very welcome, Kathleen, and thank you for taking the time to watch. Irish technical thinker. Bees are flying around my garden here in Ireland, and they look so happy in the midday sun. Oh, it's great to see the when you catch a bee flying with through that those rays of light. Oh, it looks so like a pew little dart going through. Very good. All right, so I've been on for almost an hour and a half. 5 more minutes, and I gotta go. I actually gotta go work bees again this morning. It's not over yet. I still have more yards to do. I probably got about another a good 20. No, I got more than 20 because one of them's got 12. So probably about 30 more hives to do. Thank you, Sam, for the blessing. Is beekeeping in warmer climates much different than cold? Totally different. It's definitely hard. I wouldn't want to keep bees when it's cold. James Balding, hi sir. I am active duty soldier. Man, God bless you and thank you for that service. That I say prayers every day for everybody, the armed forces, because you all put your lives in line of danger, and you fight for my freedoms. Your job, makes me safe. So thank you very much. It's been very tough dealing with stuff, and I just want to say I love your videos, Mr. Ed. Your smile keeps me positive. Well, I'll keep you in my prayers too, James. Thank you very much for your service. Great to see you too, Stephanie. I'll read your comments always. Thank you. Your dare me. Was it? Oh, Yahoo dare me. You're welcome. James Brown, your videos are great. Excellent distraction from pandemic. Yeah, from pandemic. Yeah, I'm glad to be able to give that little bit of happiness. Bruce Makem, to all beekeepers, please take care of your backs. I hurt mine. Yeah, know how to lift. Use your knees. I remember that Bill Murray. Bend your knees, Hercules. Yeah, they don't want to hurt your back. Thank you, love of Christ. Thank you very much. Alan Solomon. Hi, Mr. Ed. Time to split in North Texas. Well, thanks for dropping in, Alan. Thank you very much. Keith, thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I think I've got I think I covered everything I'd hope to cover. So next week will be a regular posted video, and I thank you all so much for spending the morning with me, dropping in, even for if it was just for 1 minute. And so until next week, God bless, Mr. Ed. I'm out of here until the next video. Now we're going to end this thing. Let's see if we can do that. End stream. Bye, guys.